Commissioner Brown is participating by cell phone. And actually, I'm getting a little feedback, so if I sound a little strange, you'll know why. It's like...
Yeah, it's echoing.
All right, I declare a quorum. We have one item on the agenda. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make such a motion.
Second.
All right, Commissioner Stamps has made a motion. Commissioner Dyer has seconded the motion. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. We have no minutes to approve. We have no ceremonial that we're aware of. I have one announcement. I've been asked to announce that on Saturday, that's this Saturday, June the 11th, 2022, at 3 p.m., the Elks Lodge will be holding their annual Flag Day ceremony. It is open to the public, and it provides a great history of the flags of the United States, if you haven't been there. And they have refreshments provided after the ceremony by the Ladies Auxiliary. So, thank you for that. All right, any public comments?
Lynn Dumas, 32 Quail Run Drive. I understand you're going to consider an easement contract today. That sounds to me like it's a permanent relinquishment of your ability to control that land. It's just as well call it a sale because you don't have any control if you give a permanent easement. And also, if you do that, you apparently are expecting a lump sum, and that will require that you reduce your budgets by that amount that you normally collect of about $30,000 a year. And in my rough calculations, that's approximately 38 improved lot assessments or 65 unimproved lot assessments. So there's going to be a reduction in your budgets that you're going to have to account for. And when you talk about hiring employees or replacing equipment or the ongoing expenses, this is a forever loss.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yes, I'm Jerry Skane, 153 Holiday Island Drive. I spoke last week to Danny. I don't know if he's here. Thank you very much, Danny.
We haven't met, but
Yeah, he can call me back on vacation. So, two things on this topic. As I expressed to Danny, as a resident, you want to be able, like this person indicated, you want to be a little bit careful on giving up control, in my opinion. And what's going on in the wireless sector, as I explained to Danny, is your wireless firms are now going to try to compete with the cable, so they're going to go over the top too. And then you have the convergence of the Internet of Things. So you have two very big drivers that all these wireless companies are trying to capitalize on. So one, as a resident, I sit there and I'm a little bit concerned about all of us getting zapped by stuff. And that may sound wacky, but it is something to think about. As a resident, I would like control over the tower. And then the second component is if we do sell this or if you decide to, I think you should make sure you understand, whoever's doing valuation work for the model, understand that this data is going to go hockey stick. And out of American Tower themselves, I got out of their investor presentation, they're modeling 5% data growth for the next 5 years, so 25 total. So understand when American Tower gives us a good deal, they have a separate model too. And they're giving us a good deal for a reason. They're trying to lock all this down. So I would just, at a minimum, I've got a few slides I can leave with you from their own presentation. Make sure we get a good deal. With that data growth, a rider on the data growth, that should be, whoever's doing evaluation, that should be real easy to plug in. So, anyway, that's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Skane. All right, let's see. I'm sorry, Al.
Al Sog, 22 Buckskin Lane. A couple of questions I'd like to see you answer later in your presentation of this resolution is, why did it come to a special meeting all of a sudden? When you're approving a resolution that you're then going to hold for the lawyer's approval, why didn't you just wait till the regular monthly meeting and get the lawyer's approval first? And also, the question was brought up previously about subdividing the lot, and whether that was approved or not in the covenants. So I assume transitioning, selling the lot, you were going instead to a permanent easement. Just raises some interesting questions. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. All right, let's go ahead to reports. We have none, I take it.
No.
All right, we have no old business, so let's go to new business and talk about our American Tower offer. I'll turn it over to you for, Mr. Presley, for comment. You may be able to answer some of the questions that were mentioned.
Okay. Well, as you are aware, we initially got this offer from American Tower for a purchase of the land. It's what they call a fee simple purchase. And that, of course, would require us to survey the property and arrange for some type of easement to the roadway and all of that. And so as I was doing that research, as directed by the board, I spoke to a lady who has some experience with negotiating these types of deals and actually worked for the Tower Alliance for several years. And she explained to me that a fee simple is really a pretty rare type of transaction for cell towers. They're almost always done by perpetual easement. And I guess there's the potential to write a clause in there that says if they vacate the property and they no longer need that site or that tower, that it would revert back to us. I mean, there's ways that you can close it out if circumstances change in the end. Now that language has not been drafted yet. That's why this motion is written as it's written, subject to the review and approval from our attorney. So that's why I thought it made more sense to go in this direction. The offer was the same, whether it's a fee simple purchase or perpetual easement.
Can you talk for a moment about the questions that we asked the attorney, the HICID's attorney?
Yes. There were two questions. One was about the covenants, and it is his opinion that the covenants are intended for secondary buyers. But this lot has never been sold. It belonged to the developer, and then it went kind of along through the years, and then HICID now has control of this property, but it's never been sold to a landowner. So he does not believe there's any violation there of the covenants. The other question was about subdividing the property, which of course with a perpetual easement that is no longer an issue. Another question was, does this affect the AOB? An AOB, of course, is the increased value of the land that's created because of the amenities that are present here. And the amenities have no bearing on the value of this land. The inherent value of this land is its elevation and the fact that the tower is there. So it, in his judgment, has no impact on the AOBs.
And really in our discussion with the lady, the local real estate agent that had worked with tower purchases, she thought this was an extraordinarily good offer.
Yes.
That typically you only get like a 15-year lease offer, whereas this is like 20 years for us.
Correct. In fact, she said in all of her years of negotiating these, this at $625,000 would be 21.4 years of the current income that we're making annually off off of this property. And she said in all of her years in negotiating these deals, she never has negotiated a deal that exceeded 20 years of revenue from rent.
And we have no doubt that, it's a good deal, gotta be a good deal for American Tower, but at this point, for us to have this much money in hand when we really need it is also a good deal for us too. Any comments, commissioners?
But the area up there, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ken.
I think it's a very good offer, and I think Diane Murphy is a very professional realtor, and she gave her advice that you just mentioned. In relation to City Council Member Dumas, I am in agreement with him that we have to watch our budget very, very carefully. But what this one-time cash sale does is allows us to do some things that we may have had to go out for a loan for, i.e. the recreation center. There was not enough money in the budget to do that construction. But I'm very aware and appreciate his comments about being careful, because this is a lot of assessments that it makes up for quite a few assessments. So I understand where he's coming from. But I think it's a deal that may not come back again, or if it comes back again, it may be for less money. So when we go to vote, I'm in favor of this purchase sale.
Thank you. Mr. Stamps?
The land up there, that is a partial, isn't it? It wasn't ever subdivided as a lot. Was it marked off as a lot?
No, it is a parcel.
Yeah, that's right.
And I believe that parcel includes the fire department and other
It does.
areas there.
That, yes, it does. So therefore, it was never, parcels were never assigned assessment of benefits. So, I mean, it's a green belt, is what it is. So therefore, it's never been a lot. We're not subdividing anything. We're giving an easement to part of a green belt. So we're not losing a lot or gaining a lot.
And really, according to the attorney, if we decided to sell it and partition it off, it was perfectly legal to do that.
Yes.
Since
you
it had
could.
never been sold before.
Yes,
This is, I think, a little cleaner.
yes.
I would agree. I guess from my perspective, frankly, I'm a little amazed at what they've offered, and I think it is more than fair to the comments about the future of communications and data transmission. And 20 years ago, we didn't have cell phones. And based on my experience in the communications field at John Deere Company, where we transmitted huge amounts of data via satellites, I would be surprised if there are cell phone towers even in existence, even 10 years from now, let alone 20 years from now. So I think we're getting, in my perspective, we're getting the money early and maybe for a greater amount than we would get if we let this lease go on perpetually and face a 20-year payback. So.
Well, there's no doubt that broadband is coming. It's been talked about for years. As a matter of fact, our governor, that was his main objective whenever he ran 8 years ago. And it has not occurred yet. But it is coming, and it needs to be, because there is so many packaged accounting, business practice deals in existence, and I'm speaking from what I do right now, because that is a package. And time you have to send it to someplace in India, and then it gets back there, and it deciphers it and gets it back to you. My computer is very slow, and so anyway, it's coming, and I'm anxious to see it get here.
Yeah, and you look at what's going on with Starlink, you know, they're gonna blanket the earth with those little satellites, and I know from personal experience, my brother's on that system up in northern Minnesota right now, has been for over a year, and his upload speed is 15 times greater than mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's amazing what the product they're delivering, and I think it's just it's a snapshot of what's coming down the pike for us, and I think this company appears to be very fair, and I understand the concerns about the budget, and we'll deal with that, but today we're faced with $100,000 for a new
New well.
well system down on the island. We're faced with a building at the rec center that is going to have to come down and be replaced in some form. And we would have to go out and borrow money. Any excess revenues we have are tied up in our reserve fund. My opinion.
Commissioner Surratt?
Yes, I'm in agreement with Ken that this is an excellent offer, and I think it's a fiscally responsible thing to do, to go through with the selling the easement.
Oh, and per the question about why this is written the way it's written, American Tower wanted a commitment from the board before they would move ahead into working up all of the legal paperwork. But I asked Mr. Presley to write this motion for us where we know that our attorney can look at it and prove it and say that everything looks okay from a legal standpoint. Any other comments?
For me.
Commissioner Surratt, would you like to call the roll, please?
Should we have a motion for that?
Oh, might be Robert's Rules of Order might like that. Would somebody like to make a motion? Thank you.
I would make a motion at this time that this board move forward with accepting the offer from American Tower for a sum of $625,000 one-time payment in return for a perpetual easement for the cell tower site on Holiday Island Drive.
I second.
I second the motion.
Okay, I think Commissioner Surratt beat you, Commissioner Brown.
No big deal.
All right, so Commissioner Dyer has made a motion that we take action to accept the offer from American Tower for $625,000 for perpetual easement, subject to review of the attorney. Commissioner Surratt has second. Would you call the commissioners, please?
Chairwoman Childers,
Aye.
Vice Chair Dyer,
Yes.
Secretary Surratt, yes. Commissioner Stamps,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
all ayes, unanimous.
Okay, we have a unanimous vote to accept the offer. If you would move ahead with the attorneys to get all the paperwork done.
Yes, ma'am, I will notify them today of the vote.
Thank you. All right. Public comments? Yes, Mayor.
Dan Keys, 120 Holiday Island Drive. I didn't want to comment early because I didn't want to influence you, and I know how much influence I have. But I just wanted to add, I think it's the right decision. It's a bird in the hand. It's a very big bird. There's obviously benefits to the cell tower company for doing this. They want to lock up that position of the tower. They don't want to be subject to having us cancel the lease or the rent or something like that. So, it gives them security that they have a location for the tower. If HISAID wouldn't have acted now, look around Holiday Island. There's all kinds of mountains outside of Holiday Island. Every one of them would be suitable for a cell tower. And, for $650,000, I'm sure they could find a property owner outside the city limits that would be more than happy to sell them an acre of land. So I think it's a bird in the hand, it's a very big bird, and I think this was the right decision.
Don't want to bet on it.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other public comments? Any commissioner comments?
Believe it or not, I don't have it.
Oh, all right, agenda scheduling, I just want to remind everyone that we have a workshop on the 20th. We've invited the mayor and any of the city council members who would like to attend to be at that session, and we may be able to share some information back and forth. And then our meeting is on the 27th, is that right?
Yes.
Did I get those dates right? All right, very good, very good. All right, do we have a motion for adjournment?
I move that we adjourn, I get one in.
Hey, there you go, Ken. All right, Commissioner Brown has moved to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
That's it.
All right, Commissioner Stamp says second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Did it work okay for you, Ken?
Yeah, send some cool